Welcome to the Arts to Hearts podcast, a show for artists, creators, creative entrepreneurs to have heartfelt conversations about living a creative life and a career. As you go into this show, hear your favorite creators talk about money, mindset, business, creativity, and everything else that goes behind into making a life that we all adore as an artist. Hear the messy and the wonderful side of being a creative. I am your host, Charuka Arora, an artist, creator, and founder of Arts to Hearts project. Thank you for joining me here. Let's jump right in. Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Arts to Hearts podcast season 2. This is your host, Charuka, and welcome. Anyone who's joining us for the first time, I want to say a big welcome for coming back here. I'm so thrilled to have you. This is such an amazing episode. I have someone very interesting and amazing with me. And anyone I know a lot of people who are coming back to this episode, who supported this show for so many episodes, and I am so grateful for your support. So thank you for joining us back in. So today's guest is someone a little different from what we've had. We've had a lot of fine artists, in visual arts, but today I have someone who is even more specific. And I know a lot of you have requested to bring more women in the arts doing different kind of visual arts. Today I have a textile designer who specializes in print design. She's based out of India and she's really popular. If you see her work, which you can in show notes, you'll see everything that I love, and her work is just so amazing. I don't want to give up too much, so I'm just going to get in the conversation, and let me introduce you to Naina. Welcome to the podcast, Naina.
Hi, Charuka. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. And hi, guys. I'm Naina. As Charuka said, I'm a textile designer and I specialize in print design. I'm also an illustrator and I design prints for wherever you can see prints in life, from clothes to interiors to shoes to accessories. So I think that's the most fun part about my job. Like, I design prints for literally everything that you see. So
I can see
I
your
think more
lovely
than
print on your dress also.
Yes, this is also my print. I had to wear my print
Really?
today.
Oh,
Yes, of course.
wow. That's so
So yeah,
amazing.
I've stopped wearing prints that don't belong to me anymore.
Amazing. So, Nana, you know
Yes.
what? Your job is the most, I think, the hottest topic in especially in the finance area, because I feel like the licensing world has picked up so much. Um,
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
also given it's given artists a way to really take their work to a mass level, to reach to a wider audience, to also have commission work, but also still have that control of what you want to create, which is the most difficult balance. And I'm so glad to
Yes.
have this. I'm sure a lot of people will really enjoy this episode, because I know how much people are looking forward to knowing how this world works. But before we go
Yes.
into the technical part and I ask you those questions, let's also talk about how you have come here. So, do you want to take us through that journey?
Mhm. Yes, so it's been such a long journey, honestly. So my mom was into fashion design and I was
Really?
always a creative child. Yes, and this was like years ago, and I've always seen her. She was into heavy bridal Indian wear, right? And I've always seen
Okay.
her creating and playing with colors, playing with surfaces, playing with textures. So I think I was in fifth grade when I decided I have to get into design and fashion design to be specific. And, but when I got into my 10th grade, and that is when I had to choose, I was like, no, I have to get into arts, I have to do something creative. And my parents, being the typical Indian kind, they were like, no, you have to, you have to have a backup. You can choose to do arts later, but you have to have a backup. Take up science, take up commerce. I was like, okay, I'll study commerce, but on this side, I have to, do something
Do
creative. So, of course, I was doing my business studies, accounting, maths, but I was always creating art on the side. I was always doing my sketching and preparing my portfolio because I was very clear I have to get into a design school. So I think 12th grade, I started prepping for my entrance, and my parents were like, it's either NIF Delhi which is I think one of the best fashion schools in India, or
India.
uh, or you get into a basic business university. I was like, okay, that's a very hard, like it was a very tough decision for me because uh, they did not want me to move out of the city,
Yeah.
and I couldn't find any good fashion school. So it was NIF Delhi and or nothing for me. So I really worked hard, and I did get a good rank, but I wanted fashion design, and fortunately, I would say now I got into textile design. So it wasn't according to plan, but I
Yeah.
feel so lucky that, I because eventually I realized that fashion is not for me. Like I cannot be doing the scenes that you were talking about, the pattern making, the cutting. It's too like nothing like I don't like geometry. I like to be creative and
Fluidity.
just yeah, I like fluidity. So I think I was very fortunate that I got into textile design. And so that also had like a lot of different semesters, right? So we studied weave, we studied surface, we studied print. And when the print design semester started, that is when I started really enjoying my course. Like I I I could create what I wanted. I could play with color, I could play with textures, and then digitizing your artwork, and then you learn the technical aspect of it, creating repeats and sizing and color separation, all of that. I really started enjoying it, and I did end up topping my semester that year. And I realized, this is what I want to do in life.
Okay.
So I decided, like, right after I graduated, I decided I have to do my master's in print design. So I went to
Okay.
UK. I went to Winchester School of Art, which is a very cute art school located in this small
Cute
city in
art school.
UK. It was a very cute little town. So it's the University of Southampton, right? And their art school is
Yeah.
located in this historic town away from the city, where you'll only see retired people and students. That's all. So it was such a nice. I mean, it was such a creative place to just create your
Create.
art and just be inspired from your surroundings, the people. So I think that 1 year is when I really explored what my aesthetic and what my style is. And that is what kickstarted my career and, gave me the confidence that I can do this. And I think I started freelancing when I was in the second year of NIFT. I got my first
Okay.
project through Instagram because I was, creating prints on the side. And, that is when Instagram had actually come up. And so I had this lady contact me from the US, and it got me really excited. Things weren't digitized as yet, so we didn't even have PayPal set up properly. So
Okay.
it was a really
Yeah, of
exciting
course.
project for me. Yeah, it was like long ago, like 2013, I think. It's
Yeah.
almost like 10 years
Yeah, at
back.
that point, doing like internationally or via
Yeah,
online payments, and like I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but I was like, I'll do it. And I remember selling one print for like $30 or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think that is where I began. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a fun start. I think I was interning with Satyapal at that time.
Okay.
And
Satyapal is an
yeah,
Indian
yes,
brand here. I love, they've also expanded in a lot of categories now, but Satyapal
yes,
at that point, I feel like was like this luxury Indian iconic brand
yes,
resonating with this print category.
right. Yeah, and but where I got my confidence of actually doing prints and developing collections on my own was my graduation project, which was with this brand called the Wishing Chair, which is a
Yeah.
lifestyle and accessory brand here in India.
Very cute.
And yeah, they have very cute stuff. And so I started my graduation project, and I was given the task to create like 5 6 collections over like a range of products. There was ceramics, there was um, linen, table linens, there was clothing. So that really gave me the confidence because they just left me free. They were like, you choose the theme, you choose the colors, you design everything. So I really had fun with the collection. And I really had a blast doing my graduation project. And even my final major project in NIFT. So that came out to be really well. And after my masters, so while I was there, I was really fond of traveling, and that was my ticket to just. I was in the UK and there were so many nice cities around to see. So I was like, I have to do something to be able to sponsor this on my own. Like, I can't be dependent on my parents
Yeah.
forever. That is when I went on this website called Upwork, if you've heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's basically a website for freelancers, and that is where I found a few clients, and I had a few projects in hand. But I would say when I started working with these clients, um, the kind of work that I was doing wasn't something that was completely my aesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is how I started, and I think that's okay because it was just for me to gain some experience and build a network and get out there in the industry.
Yeah.
So yeah, so but after a while, I think after a few months of freelancing, I had collected enough money to do like a mini Euro trip.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I think
I remember I have been following you, I don't know, quite some time. I've seen you literally
really.
grown from your, yeah, I've been following you for a very long time. I think just when you were, I remember you were just, I think below 5,000 followers when I
Okay,
remember you growing from that point. And I
yeah.
remember you sharing a lot of your prints you um, pick up from your travel.
Yes. So I'll tell you how that started. So I've always been
Yeah.
fond of traveling, and the final major project of my master's. So I had just gone on this Euro trip with my friends to Portugal, and I did
Okay.
this entire series of prints, which was inspired by the cities of Portugal. So I did one for Porto, one for Lisbon, one for Faro. So I had like a range of prints inspired by these Portugal hand painted tiles and the flora and fauna of Portugal, the architecture. And I really enjoyed doing that because there was just so much inspiration to gather and so much to see. And so yeah, so I did my entire final major collection of I think 10 prints, and that was a lot of fun. And then right after my masters, I wanted to work in the UK. I did get a few internships, but I was like, no, I don't want to waste my time. I do not want to work under anyone. I came back
Yeah.
and I was still figuring out what I want to do. I was debating whether to start my own fashion line, what to do with prints, to start my own product line, to do stationery, scarves, because there was just so much I could do with
So
prints.
much.
Yeah, and I came back in October 2018 and
Okay.
I was figuring out what to do. And while I was figuring all this out, I realized I was already busy creating prints for so many clients. And then I realized, I could just be doing this. I do not want to get into the hassle of production because that will take away from
Yeah.
my creative process. And I do not want to get into that manufacturing bit. And, I just want to create. That is all I wanted
Yeah.
to do. And just to see your prints come to life
Yeah.
and to see a product being made, that gave me so much joy. So I think I came back in October, and end of November I had fully set up my studio. I had taken up a
You have
space.
one
I
of the
had
most gorgeous studios.
thank you. Yeah, so I really enjoyed setting it up, and I filled it with colors and my prints, and
And flamingos.
yes, of course. And yeah, so I started my studio, and with barely any projects in hand, but I just surrendered and I was like, this is what I want to do. I made my account on Pattern Bank, started
Yeah.
selling there, but I was still a little confused as to what will
How
happen in the
to,
future. Like, yeah, how to make
yeah.
it grow, right? And then suddenly, um, this lady from the Dominican Republic contacts me,
Okay.
from this brand called the Coconut Swimwear. So it's a
Okay.
swimwear brand based in Dominican Republic, and she happened to see my print collection that I had done for my masters, which was inspired by Portugal. She was like, "I
Okay.
want to buy this entire collection for the next season,"
Wow.
and I was like, "Wow!"
Where did she find
And
you? And
on
where did she even
Instagram,
see this? Instagram.
yeah, everything on Instagram.
Wow.
Honestly, I've that's the only platform I've used for like promoting my work. It's been
Yeah.
great for me. So. that gave me quite a bit of confidence. I was like, I can do this. Then, again, pricing my work was a challenge.
Yeah,
I
that's
wasn't
a
aware.
big challenge.
So I did undercharge her a bit, but that's okay. I was just
Yeah.
starting out. And then after I sold her, I had a few more clients from Miami, from US, a few more swimwear clients, and then other people contacting me from Dominican Republic. And then I had met someone here to do a project with this lady called she was just starting her brand called Ira Berry Creations, and
Yeah.
she's an interior designer. And
Okay.
she really liked my prints, and we literally built the brand together. And so I was working with her, and then I had a few more clients who were solely relying on me for prints. So that is how my journey started. And then I think there was no looking back. I haven't even seen 1 month where I've not had new clients getting in touch with me.
Wow.
So it's
That's so,
been,
so inspiring and so amazing because, it's not easy. I think one of the hardest things, especially when you're working with clients, like you said, consistency, making
yes,
sure that, we all have bills to pay and it's also a business. We have to make sure that,
of course.
like we have that kind of bandwidth, we consistently get that kind of work, and also there's a lot of investment that goes in,
Yes, for
and
sure.
the bills need to be still paid. But tell me something, when you started, um, at that point I remember you and Alicia Souza is an Indian artist who was very
Yes,
popular for her journals. And I
yes,
remember because I also dabbled in journals at some point and I wasn't really great at it. But I remember I saw those journals and I think you were exhibiting at WeWork.
yes.
And you did those amazing, beautiful, tropical, floral journals. And
Yeah.
do you want
So
to talk about that?
yes, so when I started out, just for a bit of marketing, and also I was really really fond of stationery. I was like, I
Yeah,
think this is the easiest product to create. Why not just do a line of stationery? So I found a printer, and I found a few contacts to do my production, and I created my own line of stationery. But that was like just for a year, and I knew this is not what I want to do forever, because I saw myself get stuck in that loop of production. I was at the
yeah,
printers till 12 a.m. Trying to get, things
samples
sorted, because
through.
samples through, and, getting production done. And I realized I wasn't creating anymore. So I was like,
Yeah,
never again. Even if I do products, it's always going to be like a short range of
drop
products for a
shipping.
bit. Yes. And then I
Yeah, and
will
also
get back
drop
to the
shipping. Like today, we have
Yes.
an amazing resource of drop shipping. And I think what you said is something that we all as creatives struggle the most. Like we have this one creative skill, like you want to create. Now the question is, there's no right or wrong way to do something. We just need to keep experimenting and figure out how we want to do it and what works well for us. Like I shared with you, when I did fashion, I still love fashion. A lot of my work is still inspired by Indian textiles, Indian heritage and everything. But I
Okay.
absolutely, from the core of my heart, hate managing production. Hate. I
I
hated that
can,
job that
I
much
get you. Yes, I think
because,
same here.
yeah,
Just also, just also finances, like the
yeah,
costing and all of that is just, it just takes me away from my creativity, and I don't want that to happen.
yeah,
I just want
and
to,
also, yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was just saying, I just want to sit and create beautiful prints. That's all I want to do.
And then you're still making a successful business. You're still thriving in your career, and there's always a way to do this. Because you know what, I'll share
Yes.
this. What something is there, something that feels right and wrong. Even when you're doing, like when I was doing the fashion thing, it
Mhm.
was a creative business. I was still a creator. I was
Yes.
still a designer, but it never felt at after that phase of just creating, when I actually started integrating business into it, it didn't feel right. Now as an artist, I feel like that even now I'm growing my business, I'm doing everything, um, to grow a business and that side of it. But it
Right.
it just feels right because I
Mhm.
know that this is like one part, but at the end of the day, my core still remains to
Yes.
create, and then everything else matters.
Yes. Yeah.
How,
I would
yeah.
completely agree. Yes.
How about the experimentation that it took for you? Like licensing is still a very unexplored area. Like a lot of artists in the visuals I know now today, fine artists, because it brings it brings it brings more stability. It's a
Yes.
great resource for passive income. It's a great resource to take your work on a mass level, to work with brands. But a lot of people don't know how to begin, where to go,
Right.
what are the specifics. Licensing and creating patterns is not only restricted to like one form of visual arts, like fine artists, like photographers, or
Mhm.
like print designers and surface designers like you. We all can. I mean, we've seen like emoji designer people have done so much, like
Yeah.
they've just
Yes.
used this as a tool. But can you share your journey of like how did you think, like did this seem like a way for you to actually build it sustainably, and how did you get started into it then?
So this was during my masters when I saw so many, when I heard about and I started following so many textile design studios in the UK, and I
Okay.
started following all these print design shows that happen, like Hem Textile and the one that happens in Paris. Why am I forgetting the name? Anyway, there's a lot of print trade shows that happen, and that is my ultimate goal, to be able to exhibit there few years down the line,
I'm
hopefully.
sure you will.
And yes, um, so I saw that there are so many textile design studios, and I realized that India is a hub of export houses, but it
Yes.
lacks design studios,
Right.
studios that are just exclusively creating art and design and not
Yeah.
doing any sort of production. So that was my aim. So I came here, I thought, okay, I'll open my own little studio, I'll get started. And that was the time, 2018, 2019, that was the time when, especially Indian fashion designers, they were transitioning from those heavy embroidered garments to more preth resort wear printed
Yeah.
garments. So I
Yeah.
realized there was a lot of demand here and very few designers who would want to license their work. So that is how I
Yeah,
got
that's
into it.
true.
And yeah, I started reading about it a lot. And Pattern Bank really helped me because more than earning from it, I got to learn a lot from it about licensing, about the types of licensing, how I can sell my prints, how my prints should be priced, what is the market value, what are the trends. So I made my account there and started doing a lot of research, and eventually uh, start to learn more about it. And now I started licensing my prints also, but now I work in a very easy way. I just do customized prints. So for
Okay. By
example, if I
customize, you
collab
mean?
by customize, I mean, for example, if I collaborate with a fashion designer, or if a designer gets in touch with me and they want me to do their collection, I would exclusively create the collection for them and sell them the rights of the prints instead
Oh,
of
wow.
creating my own collection and then licensing it.
Then, okay.
Yeah. So it's just
Okay.
backwards. And yeah, I think that works well for both me and the brand, because the brand gets exactly what they need in terms of the design, color, scaling. But because there's a lot that goes into a design technically as well, the scaling and the
Yeah.
kind of printing that the brand wants to go for. So I sit with them and we create the entire collection from scratch.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's talk about this a little bit more. For anyone who's, let's
Yeah.
say, interested, there's so much that will go into this, because a lot of questions that come in, like, how did you figure? How would you now? Still, prints when you're licensing, there's still some. Um, there's still a lot more information about how you can plan and price. But how do you do this when you're working with clients? How do you maintain your originality and still find that balance between delivering something that a brand
Yes.
wants, and still stay intact to who you are and what you want to create? And then how does, rights to the work, how did you figure your pricing out? How did that pan out?
So if you talk about pricing, that took me quite some time to, set a specific to put a price on my art, because I think that's the hardest for any artist to do, because only an artist can understand what the amount of hard work that goes into creating a
Yes.
piece. But a lot of market research. First of all, you can't have very competitive rates, and you can't be undercharging as well. So I think it's just market research that you have to do. You have to charge what other designers are charging as well. Like, so, but you can obviously add as your experience
Yeah.
increases, and that's what I did as well, I think. And apart from pricing, when I'm working with the designer, so it's an entire design process, right? If you ask me how I maintain my originality, I'm very clear. There are people who come up to me with another artist's work and tell me, I want a design like this. I'm happy to I'm like, okay, you can connect with the artist, and you can. I'm sure they'll be happy to license their work to you. I would never steal someone's aesthetic and create a collection like that. So most of the times, it's me who's coming up with mood boards and ideas for the brand. If not,
Okay.
sometimes brands do have very specific briefs, but then I set the illustration style, I mostly set the colors. And I think that is where my aesthetic and my style comes in. For
Okay.
example, a brand would come to me saying, I want to build a collection around a flower, say poppy. And then
Okay.
we would see different references. We would see the trend reports. We would see what's happening in the runway. We would see the color forecast.
Wow.
And then I would sort of tell them, this is the illustration style that I think could work with your brand. And another
Okay.
thing that I have to keep in mind, because I'm working with so many different kinds of brands that are in
Nothing
competition with
looks
each other
similar.
in the same market, yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
to come up with a collection that looks completely different from what the other person's collection looks like. I think that's the biggest challenge for me.
And then, yeah, that's
And
also a good thing because let's say if this is this one brand that you work, let's say swimwear. Now you've also worked
yeah,
with multiple swimwear brands.
yes.
That could be like a maybe probably would you work like with, let's say, two or three swimwear brands based in India, or would that be like a competitor or something?
I would never say no to a project, but I definitely would make sure if there are two competitors that the prints don't look anything like each
Look
other.
alike. Yeah.
Yeah, because even if you go through my work, you would see a lot of different kinds of illustration styles,
Yeah.
which I've sort of developed through the years. And now I have a team with me as well. So I
Oh
make use of
wow.
them. Yeah. So I have people working under me, especially illustrators with different styles of
Styles.
illustration. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I really have to sit and edit their work a lot to make it look like, my aesthetic as well.
This is such a great point. Let's also talk about now you figured this is what you wanted to do. Now comes again the hard part, especially for creatives, like scaling in the
Yes.
business. And then I think, how did you get over the point where you were being the artist? Right? Because I think
Oh, it
the
was
biggest
such a tough
struggle,
decision. I felt very
we don't
wrong. I
want to
was
let
like,
go.
yes, I was like, this is not right ethically, because, the client thinks I've made it, but
Yeah,
no, my intern has painted this. But then I realized, if I have to make business out of it, if I have to expand my brand, I can't be doing everything on my own, because painting every motif takes so much time.
so
And
much time.
yeah, I can't be creating 20 prints in a month just by myself. I need a team, I need support. But I make sure that whatever work my interns or and my team does, I sit and edit it and make it look like me, make it look like Naina Lamba textiles.
Yeah,
So I think, yeah, all the digital work is done by me, all the editing, putting it into repeats. So the final look of the collection, the final colors, that is all in my hands. But the I think even the basic sketches, the basic references are given by me. Just the illustrations are done by my
execution.
team. Yeah,
Yeah,
all
and
the
I think
execution
it's
is done by me.
also, and I think it's also something that we as creatives need to realize that we can only do so much. And
Yeah.
creating physically, we feel like the act of creating physically is also like, it's just not that. For me, my podcast or the platform or the curations that I do and all of that is a very big part of my own creative practice. I know there are so many more people into it, but the vision still remains yours. The ideas
Yes.
is still yours. There's so many people, and to make a successful idea, we sometimes need people who come with a specific skill set, specific value that they can add, and bringing all those elements together is again a job of a creator. So ultimately, even
Yes.
then, no matter if someone was also doing all the other work, the vision still remains yours.
Yes, that is so true. I think you put it very well together. I agree. So, yeah, it was actually a very tough decision for me to hire. And I'm still struggling with hiring someone full time because I feel like, you know, I can't,
You
I, I'm
you
the
don't
sort
want
of
to
person,
sit
I
on
wouldn't go
someone's,
to,
like, you
yeah,
don't want to sit with
that,
someone throughout the day.
and I don't like going to office every day. I'll be very honest.
Oh,
Sometimes
big
I would just
one.
go to a cafe and work.
Work.
I just, yeah, I'm not an office person at all.
Yeah, I can
So
so
if
relate to
hiring
that.
someone full time would be such a big responsibility of
Yeah.
getting to work at a specific time every day, which I cannot do.
But have you explored working virtually?
Yeah, all my team is all like
Virtual
working
now.
remotely. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is something that COVID has taught. I think I really, really
Yes.
connect with what you're saying, because
Yes.
I can't feel like I have to be like, sometimes I feel like I have recordings so many times, then I have calls, and then I have to
Yeah.
be in the studio. And I feel like if I have to be stuck with like a location, if I have to show up somewhere, I don't think I can do that for sure.
Yes.
And I can't do everything on my own is also a fact. So
Yep.
COVID really helped me realize, like, I can still have people who can help grow and help things, like put things
Yeah.
together, but I don't, that does not mean it needs to stop me from who I am and how I work. So working remotely, having people, like I have people who work remotely with me, and I think that's been such a big blessing,
Yes.
because it doesn't like take away. I think one of the biggest things we, especially as creators, feel, especially when we are growing, is we feel like that growth should not take away our freedom.
Yes. I completely resonate with that statement because, like I mentioned, I love traveling. I love just getting out, and COVID did make me a lot more grounded. And I thought I couldn't. I was under the impression that I can't create without traveling, but that completely changed in these past, I think, 2.5 years. Um, but it's been tough. It's been a very tough shift. But I would like to get back to the
Traveling.
normal life.
Okay, let's also talk about your struggles. What was the hardest thing for you? As I think, I really want to ask this, as a woman in the business, in the business of, especially like, fashion, a lot of these creative fields,
Mhm.
even though if you see the bottom, like schools and everything, it's densely populated with women, but when you go on the top, a lot of it, successful people are mostly men. And
Yes.
I want to hear your experience, and what were your biggest struggles while in all these years while you were growing.
Let's start with I would start with my family.
Yeah.
There were a lot of questions about, you know, um, like my parents did always believe in me, but when they started, like I have always been very quiet about what I'm doing, right? And they would suddenly
Okay.
see this big project that I did on Instagram, and they would be like, "What? When did you do that?" and and they would see me making big investments without keeping them in the loop,
Consulting.
and
Yeah.
yeah, without consulting my dad and doing my taxes on my own. And my dad would be like, wow, I did not expect that. So I think people don't expect women to be financially independent,
Especially in
especially here
India.
especially in India. So I think that was one of the major challenges that I faced. Other than that, I've been very lucky to have worked with so many female creators. I love that about my
Yeah.
job because every day I'm talking to new designers, fashion designers, interior designers, and women starting their own businesses, looking for people whoever starts. Like I think I have a lot of startups coming to me
Yeah.
for prints, and I would say most of them are women. So that really
Oh,
makes me
wow.
happy, and yeah, so that's great. I think I get to work with a lot of creative women, and I feel like we've sort of built a community together. And so I think that's great. And apart from that, if I have to talk about my challenges, of course, I think trying to figure out my own style, what my aesthetic really is. Like I mentioned, I was in the beginning, I was doing projects that I'm not really very proud of now, but I think
Yeah.
that was also just the learning stage, and it was important for me. But to set my style and what Naina Lamba Textiles as a brand is, that took quite some time, and I would say I did it all through Instagram. I still don't upload posts that don't go with my aesthetic. I really choose what I have to post, and I think that is why I've really like I've really stopped posting a lot in these past few months. Also because of NDAs, because we're not allowed to share
Yeah.
most of the things we create. So
Yeah.
that's sad. But and I don't get a lot of time to do my personal projects anymore. But yeah, that and I think yeah, these are I think creating your brand and setting a clientele and making people believe this can be a legit business.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think. Apart from that, I think I've been very, very lucky to have, entered the market at the right time,
Yeah.
when there was a lot of need
Yeah,
for
you were
print,
one of the
especially in
very
this country.
early textile,
Yes,
especially print
yes,
centered
yes.
designers here.
Now you see a lot of them coming up.
Yeah.
I see a lot of my juniors getting into this field as well, and I feel really glad that, I could inspire people to get into this field.
Yeah. Absolutely, you
So,
did.
yeah. So I
Amazing.
think,
You
yeah,
know, how has social media, Instagram played a role in all of this for you? I know,
I think 100, yeah, not even 90, I would say 100% of my clients are through Instagram. A little bit
wow.
word of mouth, not so much because clients don't like to share their sources with other people. So it's all been Instagram for
Yeah.
me.
So, would you share like anyone who's listening, things that work for you, your lessons, especially like now Instagram has become so much harder and
Yeah,
just, I mean,
agreed.
it's it's
It's
it's
hard
still
to keep
not
up.
it's not the same. Yeah. But
Yeah, with the
anyways, what
algorithm
do you
and the
have?
reels. When I started out, it was a very simple platform. I just created prints and I posted them, and then people would question me saying, "How can you just go and post your work online? Aren't you afraid of people copying you?" I was like,
Copying
"That's
you.
fine. I've already created it. I've already sold it, and I'm posting it. Even if they do copy me, it's fine. I've moved on and I've created another piece of work. It doesn't matter." And I was just creating and posting, and I was just working on my reach and getting more clients to notice me online. And I used very specific hashtags, so people in similar communities would notice me. People of similar like textile design pages would repost my work, and brands would get in touch with me. And I think that is how I grew through Instagram. I would really spend a lot of time doing a lot of research and going through pages that would help promote my work. That's how I started. And now it's become very hard, and it's very demotivating when you're posting once in a week or once in like 10 days and you're not getting the reach that you want, because it's just so full of people and content creators and people creating reels, and there's just so much happening that your work just gets lost. So
Yeah.
it's disheartening, but I still haven't stopped getting clients from Instagram, and I hope
Yeah.
that continues. Yeah, so I would say that's really, really helped me.
Amazing. Now, you are now just not like you started out as, let's say, a textile designer, but now you run like a full-fledged and a textile design studio, right?
Yes.
Let's say someone who's running a studio, also who's also been who also does create on your own. Anyone who wants to get, let's say, I know a lot of artists, especially in the fine arts area, they want to create ways to sell their work, take their work to a wider audience, and find more ways to actually make money out of their work. And I think this is such a great way to do it. So what
Yes.
would be your can you maybe break it down in a few steps, like, let's say, how to figure out, let's say, probably what can be a good print, then how do they get started? Should they like probably put together like a body of work? I mean, can you maybe, let's say I am an artist. I
Okay. And
have,
you
let's
want to sell
say,
prints.
yeah. Now, can you help me
Okay.
break this down? How do I get started? I just feel like anyone who's
Uh,
listening now, they
yeah.
have a few steps that can get them going. Like,
Okay. So, you're an artist and you have a piece of art that you want to sell as a print. Um, to become a designer, it's very, very important to have technical knowledge.
yes,
So I would say do your research. At my time, there wasn't a lot available online, but now with Skillshare and with so many websites coming in,
yes,
you can, and especially with the Photoshop upgrade, it's you don't really need to
please,
work to make repeats. It's an automatic software. It does it for you.
yeah,
When I started,
yeah,
I had to set each and every repeat, each and every size. It was a very, very technical process. And especially with the iPad coming in and Procreate,
yeah. Procreate,
digitization has become so, so easy. So it's just, these are just skills that you can learn online in a day now, instead of, as
yeah.
opposed to what I did in university for 4 years and then one more year in masters, and you know setting repeats from scratch, doing all the handwork and scanning it and cleaning it. It
Oh my
I would say
God, I
it took
can't.
me hours to create a print, like 3 years ago. And with technology coming in, I can create a
Yeah,
print and like I have all the elements ready, and it takes me barely 10 minutes to do it. So if you have the technical knowledge, it's very important to understand repeats. You asked me what a good print means to me. I would say a print where you can't figure out what the repeat is. It should just be fluid, and
okay,
your eyes should just move and not get stuck in a specific place. If that's happening, that means the print is distracting and it needs to be more balanced. So
okay,
you definitely need to have the knowledge of repeats, because when you put a print on a product and you want it to look pretty, uh, it's the technical details that make it so seamless.
yeah.
So just that knowledge. And if I think artists, and that there are two kind of prints, right? There's a repeat print that I'm talking about, and then there's a
Repeat it.
placement,
Yeah, done. Yeah,
like an engineered pattern. If an artist wants to like go ahead and create their own collection of placement prints, then I think you can just work with a bigger canvas, and just,
yeah,
for example, if you have like a 40 by 40 canvas, just place it on a dress. Then I think this, after the repeat and after the fluidity, I would say colors. I think
okay,
colors make or break the print. You don't have to be an
yeah,
artist. You don't have to have crazy sketching and drawing skills to create a print. It could just be something very simple and very abstract. If the colors are
yes,
attractive, the prints would surely sell. And the
yeah,
colors, and of course, to sell, the colors need to be on trend. Like you need to do your
yeah.
trend research as well.
Trend research.
I think, yeah. And then
You
the
know, this is
third,
so well put said. Let me, I don't want to interrupt, but I want to say something.
yes,
While I was in my third year of college, like I was doing fashion, so I was working with Future as a industry project in Future groups.
okay,
And
okay,
we did one segment which was print, and we would, I mean, because Future groups and all fashion brands are heavily dependent on prints. I remember, like, we were given a brief that we had to do prints and everything. We were taught how to do all of this, but in a let's say in just one semester. And why you I'm sharing this because you just said that you don't have to have like this technical, like you don't have to have the perfection. I remember 2 days before, I just didn't know what to do. I was like, I didn't I had no clue. They had no brief. They were like, you just need to create prints and create 100. And, like fashion school, they would tell you, like art schools, make 100 sketches, make 200 sketches, make
Yeah,
this and that.
I hate that.
And I would do that. And you know what happened in that process? We didn't have iPad at that point.
Yeah.
I was using Photoshop and I just scribbled. I just scribbled and I scribbled with different brush stroke, like typical brush from Photoshop, and I just scribbled.
Mhm.
And I had like it started to become like with I don't know, maybe I used 10, 20 different colors, and I just knew I had 1 hour to submit and I needed to do something. I just needed to
Oh,
do
wow.
something. So I was like, let me just put this out and I felt, and I think this is another mental shift. For us, we think something when we spend hours on, days on, months on, then it is a
I
good project,
agree.
then it is a good work.
I
Something we're just
completely
doing out
agree.
of whim. Yeah, and we feel like, and I felt like I was like, for me, it was a deadline I needed to close because I didn't know what to do. I was like, let me just submit this. Apparently, I just couldn't show up for my submission, like my when a faculty and the team was coming. I think I was a while late or something.
Mhm.
And when I came in, I was like, people were really like, oh, this is what a good print makes. And I entered into the class, and I was like, I'm going to get a bash because I sent a print which had just brush strokes like an abstract pattern. And I was like, my faculty is going to kill me. Like, you didn't even put an effort. And I had this future group team sitting here, and they're like, this is a good print. And I looked at the print and I was like, oh my god, this is my print. And that was like, and what they said? So this is the smartest print from the entire submissions because
Yeah.
this person hasn't spent more than 10 minutes and has made a seamless pattern. So I just, like you said, like, sometimes it's not that you have to be good at drawing
Yes.
or good at this or that or whatever. It's just this it's just this urge to create in whatever way you create. It could be as
Yes.
basic as a brush stroke.
I'll tell you a little secret. I was never good at art or drawing. I
Really?
I
Doesn't
think
seem
it
like that.
was yeah, it I think it was in my masters when I really started practicing and started drawing. And yeah, I think it was practice that,
Yeah.
gave me. Otherwise, I wasn't a born artist. I really had to. I think that was also one of my major struggles. I really had to practice my way into being a good artist.
Wow. That's so
I
nice
was
to hear.
always
Because I
creative,
have a lot of
but
notions
yeah,
like this.
yes,
Absolutely, absolutely. I think any skill, be it a creative skill or any skill, it's a practice that makes it a skill,
yes, yes,
nothing else.
agreed.
And when someone asks me, like, I don't know, I mean, of course, art school and all of these things matter, but I think for me, my foundation of, let's say, someone who spends 1 year on a skill, I spent a month or two and I was able to grab that skill at a faster rate, is because I spent my entire childhood in those negligible moments. I spent like all majority of my time just scribbling, just doodling, just
Yeah,
painting, even if it meant like botanical biology studies in my course books, or like summer vacations and like going for calligraphy classes. Like I've just spent
yes,
out of hobby, out of love, out of just because I never went to a an art school, but
hmm.
I was still making and learning every day. So that accounts, like our hours. It's just not your color understanding, I'm sure, is not with you going only to an art school. Honestly, if you
Yes,
still ask me, I may not be able to answer a lot more like technical answers when it comes to, oh, what complementary or how, what this combination. But
yeah,
if you put colors in front of me, I can mix the right colors for you. I can
yeah,
experiment and play because that's how I grew up. Like I work by
hmm.
instinct a lot more, and I'm sure your color strength is really great. I've been
Thank
seeing
you.
your work, and I'm sure it's just not school. It's
Yeah, it's instinctive and
beyond that.
practice. Yes,
It's like it's like how I can see your background, how you put together like clashing prints, or like your plant clashing your sofa, or like things like that that you wear every day as a creative, practicing and improvising and then learning and then just putting it back into our work.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say I have my print ready. Okay,
Yeah.
now what do I do? How should I take my work out there, and how do I find someone who would want to take my print or would want to make me to make a print for them? What are the places I can start with? How do I upload? I mean, not upload as in where
So
can
I
I
think,
share my
yeah.
work?
So there's quite a few websites available, like Patent Bank, like I've mentioned, is solely for selling prints. And then there's a lot of other websites like Society 6 and Redbubble where you can
Yeah,
sell your prints as products. So
products.
you can have your own marketplace and post your prints, and they would make products out of your prints and directly sell it to the customer. So those are two ways. And uh, I went the patent bank way because I did not want to get into involved in any kind of products. I just wanted to sell my art and my prints. So I think, though, other than that, you can always create your own product line.
Yeah,
Um, you have your print in hand. You can choose how you want to execute it, what kind of printing you want to get into, whether it's digital, it's screen, it's block, whatever works
yeah,
best for your piece of work. And yes, you can just, there's no limit to creating any with print, especially like if I talk about myself, I worked with jewelry, I worked with footwear, I worked with diapers, I worked with lingerie, I worked
wow.
with swimwear. So I feel like there's no product that I haven't touched. So from bedding to clothes to everything, there's just so much you can do with prints. You literally see prints everywhere every day in your life.
Yes, that's true. And more as we are going forward in time, like that's only
Yeah.
growing, if anything
Yes.
else.
Yes.
Okay, last question to this step, which is, let's say I have found where I want to do. What is your advice on how someone who's just starting out and who wants to dip their hands into prints and licensing and commissions like these, working with brands, your tips for pricing?
Okay, so like I mentioned, don't overcharge and don't undercharge. Do your market research, see where you stand in the market. That's very important. And have that confidence whenever you're quoting your price. And always back yourself up with, whenever a client questions you, why are you charging this much? You should be confident in answering, and this is what the market rates are, this is what my experience is, and this is what I bring to the table. You have to be very, very confident while quoting. And
Yeah,
I used to undercharge for most of my career, but now I've taken a stand. If my prices don't work for you, that's
yeah,
that's okay. Maybe maybe in a few years when your brand has grown, we can collaborate again. But
yeah,
don't let the client bargain, because I don't let anyone bargain with me when it comes to art, because I know how much time I spend making it, how much hard work goes into it. And I think it's very hard to honestly price your work. It was very hard for me because when you create this beautiful print and just how can you just sell it to someone else? It
yeah,
especially, yeah, when that girl from Dominican Republic came to me and she was like, I want to buy the entire collection. I was excited, but at the same time I was like, but I created that. I don't want this print to belong to anyone else. It's mine.
yeah,
You get possessive about it, but
yeah.
you have to let go of that. And uh, I think once you do your research, you'll know where you stand, and you'll know how much you'll your print should cost.
Yeah. And what about your thoughts on also safeguarding yourself and your rights as a creator when you're working with brands, collaborations, making sure that setting boundaries, like, I know that a lot of people, like, when they license, they work, like, let's say they set a production time, units, or sometimes they say that, okay, this print can only be used for so and so years, or like,
Yeah.
do you have like any advices on things like those?
So I have a very basic contract that I give to my clients, and if it's a big brand that I'm working with, they would present me with a contract that I have to agree. So I think it's first of all, it's very important to have a contract so you know both of you are on the same page. And
Yeah.
secondly, it's very important that you start working. You don't start working without an advance, because I've
Yeah.
done that when I started out.
Yeah.
I've made there's been times when I've made the entire collection and the brand has just run away or
Vanished.
not, yeah, vanished. Yeah, so
Ah.
I made the mistake of not doing that when I started out, and uh, lesson learned the hard way. But of
Yeah.
course, it was a learning journey, so no
I
regrets
think this
there.
we all
But
make. We all make.
yes, yes, because when you get a new project, you're all excited, and
Excited.
yeah. For me, money is the last thing. Especially when I
Yeah.
started out, money was the last thing in my mind, and I was just excited to create. But I guess not anymore. It's very important to be
Yeah.
professional when it comes to yeah.
Yeah, and also being, I mean, I think sometimes we are so excited about creating that we let people take advantage of ourselves, of our enthusiasm and our passion. But we all, we all deserve to be fairly paid and respected. And
Yes.
being paid for a work is a respect. Like someone's
Yes,
done a
I
job for
agree.
you.
Yes,
Okay.
completely.
My last question before we go into the rapid fire. What is
Okay.
your vision with Naina Lamba Design Studios? What is your dream about it?
So, of course, to have a huge textile design studio with a full-time team, hopefully soon, and
Yes.
do the trade shows like that I mentioned, like Premier Vision in Paris and Textile in Frankfurt, and all the print shows that happen, because I want to be able to exhibit on a global platform, and I want the world to see my prints. And I want people to see my prints and know that the Nana Lamba prints. So I think that is the vision that I have.
Lovely. I'm sure it'll happen. I'm sure. I'm very
Yes.
sure about that. Also, you have one of the most adorable studios in Delhi.
Thank you. I really had a lot of fun creating it.
Are you still like, is it like a home studio or it's like a separate space?
No, no, it's a separate space, and I share the space with my mom. So she has her office, and then another room is my studio. And yeah, so it's just 10 minutes away from home, so it's convenient.
Oh wow. How does it feel to be working with your mom in the same space?
She's so busy with her work. I barely get to see her. It's the same building, but uh,
Oh,
it's good, especially after being married. It's great to be able to see her every day.
yeah, yeah, that I'm sure that would be something that you
Yes.
would really enjoy.
Yes, I do enjoy that. So yeah, lunch
Amazing.
times are together. So I think
Oh
yeah,
wow.
it's great.
And how often do you go to your studio? How does your regular work life looks like?
I try to go to my studio as much as I can, to be honest, but sometimes I work from home as well. But there are days when I have to attend meetings, and I'm just shuffling between meetings. But whenever I get the time, whenever I have to, be in isolation and really create, that is when I make
Yeah.
sure that I, go to my studio. But it does happen like three or four times a week, which is not bad.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And I think with running a business and making sure everything in place, I think we all need to find and strike a balance
Right.
between creating and then putting it out there.
Yeah.
Amazing. Nana, thank you so much. I really appreciate this 1 hour quickly went by. And I am
Yes.
so grateful. Thank you so much. But
This
we
was
have the
amazing.
rapid fire left.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
And you have to give me what comes to your mind first. There's no right and wrong. You have to be quick. Okay, so here we go. One thing you want to convey through your work in the arts
I just want to spread a lot of color.
that you're doing very well. What's that one word that describes you the best?
Uh, Again, color.
If you could have a studio anywhere in the world, where it would be?
I think Aruba, where you see a lot of flamingos. just at a beach.
It would feel like your work and your
Yeah,
environment
just
has blended.
a tropical island somewhere.
Who's your favorite woman artist designer?
Currently, I'm following this artist on Instagram. She's an illustrator named Katie Scott, and she does
Okay,
these beautiful botanical illustrations. I love her work.
really? I have to check
Yeah,
her out.
yes.
Who's your who's your go-to person when you are in trouble or in need of advice?
My husband.
Amazing. What has Okay, I'm sure there must have been many, and this is a little bit like a you don't have to be one word. Can you
Your
share
voice is
one
breaking
moment?
off.
Sorry.
Can you
Okay,
just
this is
repeat
a
that?
little yeah, this is a little bit more than one word. I'm
Okay.
sure there must have been many moments that you savor being an artist and designer and then, doing the work that you're doing. Can you share like one experiences out of those that you felt really like that
Over the moon.
euphoria and that moment, like you feel very
Yes.
grateful for who you are?
Oh, I have to tell you about this. So me and my best friend, we follow this Spanish art singer. I don't know if you've heard of Maluma,
Okay.
and we've been his biggest fans. And I work with this brand in Miami who does. They do resort wear and they do like quad sets for men and women. And they've we started the brand together, and they've really grown. And I wake up one day and I'm going through my Instagram, and I click on Maluma's story, and I see him wearing my print. And
Oh
I called up my best
wow.
friend. That was just it for me. I was like, this is why I
Hmm.
started this business. It was just, I think I felt ecstatic, and I had to share it with my best friend, and we would just both of us we called each other, and we were just screaming, "Oh, look, Maluma is wearing my print." And then
Oh
there
wow.
was Joe Jonas, and then there's a lot of different international artists and singers that I've seen wearing my work. So
Oh
that makes me really
wow.
proud.
I'm sure that would make you like ecstatic
Yes,
every time that you would see that.
yes. And it's
Lovely.
funny because he's repeated the outfit like at least 4 times, and you don't see celebrities doing that.
Repeating that.
Yeah,
So I'm sure that's his favorite, one of his favorite or
yeah.
something. We can take that for granted. Okay. If you were to meet younger Naina today, what advice would you give her?
I would spend more time creating art and doing creative work.
Lovely. Okay. Shout out to an artist who you are currently loving, especially on social media, like someone you found via social media.
Uh, like I mentioned, Katie Scott. I'm
Yeah.
obsessing over her work right now. She does botanical illustrations, and it's beautiful.
I have to check. I have to check. Okay, last question. As a woman, artist, creative entrepreneur, what's that one advice you want to give to people who are coming, especially women who are coming up, starting, following, and coming behind you?
I think it's very important to have your own aesthetic, your own voice, and to be confident about your work. And if you're confident and you know what you're doing, I'm sure you'll get there. You'll achieve whatever you want and be successful.
Oh wow, love that advice. That's it. You were so good and such a pro.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
This
so
was so
much,
much fun.
Nana. Really,
Thank you,
I
Sarka.
really
This was
appreciate this.
amazing.
Same
So do
here,
I.
same
This was a
here.
lot of fun.
I'm so glad I've been following you for so long, and I've seen you literally grown your business and everything, your work. I've seen literally bloom you by Instagram, and it finally
Yes.
have you right in front of me, especially for now across the screen. But I'm sure we'll catch up. Luckily, someone I can say I can catch up in real time now in Delhi.
Yes, we should definitely do that.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
You
But
have to
thank you
visit my
so much.
studio.
Oh, I was waiting for that invitation. Now that I've now that I have it, I'm going
We'll,
to chance like
yes,
I'm going to just bump upon that chance for sure.
yes. We'll
I am
plan
coming.
that soon. Yes,
Yes, let's
done.
do that. Let's do that. But
Yes.
okay, everyone who's listening to this right now, how do they find you? Where can they find you? Where they can support you? Do you have anything upcoming that we can support you in any new projects that you want to share with us. Let us know what's up.
Yes, I have been working on a lot of new exciting projects, but they'll all be up on my Instagram. So you can just go follow me there. My
Okay.
Instagram handle is Naina Lamba Textiles, and everything that I do would be up there. I'm very bad at updating my
Perfect. So
portfolio,
Instagram is the
so
best way.
yeah, Instagram is the best way.
We all can relate to that.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Naina. It was
Thank you,
such a
Charaka.
pleasure. You've literally,
Same here.
I had such a great time, and thank you so much. We're
So
recording
did
this
I.
episode at like middle of the night. It's
That's
12:30
okay.
a.m. So
Yes,
I really
that's okay.
appreciate this. And I will hopefully see you soon in person. And
Yes, we will plan that soon.
we'll have you bigger, better back again soon,
Yep.
I'm sure.
Yes.
With some like really
Thank
big collaboration, then I'll pull you back again.
Yes, hopefully.
Perfect. Yes, yes, I'm sure. Thank you. I hope you have a good
Okay, thank
night.
you, Charka. You too. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. You can find all the details and links mentioned in the show notes of this episode available on www.arts2heartsproject.com. And if you like this episode, please don't forget to tag us in your stories and leave us a review here on iTunes or any of your favorite platforms. It really helps us to keep the show going. Thank you so much and sending you lots of love, and I can't wait to be back here soon again. Bye.